Hit it, hit it.
All right, so you have completed all 9 squares of your Crochet Stitch Sampler baby blanket. You have blocked them, you have joined them together, and now it's time to add a border. The border for a Crochet Stitch Sampler baby blanket is rather simple to an extent. How about that? We're going to talk about how we begin with single crochets, and then we're going to jump into an actual stitch that I used on the sample blanket, and you can look down here. You can see along the corner here, this first base section of brown, that's just a bunch of single crochets. I went around the entire blanket through all of the exposed edges of the square, and I did single crochets, but at each corner, so the 4 corners, I would put 3 single crochets in one corner. And then the next time around, I put 3 single crochets in the center of the previous 3 single crochets. What that does is it increases the number of stitches that I have around my blanket evenly, and it allows the blanket to lay flat. This also allows for an extra width all the way around the blanket to give it a little bit more girth. If you wanted to stop at that point, you absolutely could. You don't have to continue on to this colored section. Or if you decide you want to do a different type of border for the color section, go and pick out any sort of border book that you have in your library and make sure that when you do your single crochets, you have the correct number of stitches needed to be the base of your border. So if it's an even number of stitches, you have an even number. If it's an odd number, you have an odd number. For the Crochet Stitch Sampler blanket, with the border that we chose, or that I chose, it's all me. The border that I chose, it requires an even number of stitches, so it's an even number of single crochets in order to complete this border. So let's jump right on in. I'm going to scoot this blanket right aside, and for purposes of this video, I'm actually just going to go ahead and work around the blooming granny square, just because I think it'll be easy for you guys to see the square. So we're going to assume if this were to be blocked out into 9 different squares, this is your full blanket, but we're just using this for our sample today, okay? To begin with your single crochets, once all of your squares are joined together, you're going to take your yarn and your hook, and you're going to start at the corner with a slip stitch. So I'm going to go into the corner, and I'm going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So that begins my slip stitch. Now for me, when I work into the corner stitches and begin, I like to begin with all 3 single crochets in the corner, because then I know that I have completed them. So I'm going to chain 1, because that's what you typically do when you work single crochets, and I'm going to put 3 single crochets in this corner. I'm going to put 3 single crochets in each corner, so that's going to be a staple here. That's what we want to do. I'm going to go ahead and grab a stitch marker, slippery little boogers, and I'm going to put it in the top of the first single crochet I completed. My chain 1 is not going to count as a stitch for this. I want to have the single crochet count as my stitch. So there I have the 3 single crochets in the corner, and I would follow along the path of all the blocks, and I would single crochet around each stitch that I come across. Now, if you're working into the side of a block, just like we talked about when you were joining squares, if you missed that section, go to the joining the squares together, or seaming the squares together with single crochets. You're going to just create a space or a section where you want to put the single crochets. You can do it however you want, whatever creates a nice solid looking fabric that lays flat. If you're one of those people that likes to have everything very precise, you could lay your blanket out and divide it up into sections and say, I want to make sure that I have exactly, let's say exactly 20 stitches in this section and 20 stitches in this section, whatever that may be. So that way you have the exact number on all sides. But here's something that's really cool with using a border or an edging like this, is if one side, say it has 120 and one side has 122 and another side has 124 and this side has 120, it's never going to show. So that's really convenient, perfect for our first blanket. You've learned all of these great stitches. So, I mean, let's not make brain damage here on the border section. Just make it really easy. I'm single crocheting all the way across to my other corner, and when I get there, again, I'm going to put 3 single crochets into that corner. And if you're paying attention, you're noticing that I'm actually working into the chain stitch of this example. So I do have my butt hanging out. I just decided I would go ahead and do that. You don't have to do that. I just thought it might look fun. So here we go. I'm almost to my corner. So here's my corner. I'm gonna do one more. And here's where I would put my 3. I'm gonna put 3 all in there. So there's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have you continue on like this around your entire blanket and join me back here and we will move on to the next section of the edging. So you've completed your entire round of single crochet. I'm going to show you how to finish up here. Once I've went around my whole single crochet, I'm back to the beginning where I had marked my stitch. I'm going to go into that single crochet, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. So I've joined with a slip stitch and it's complete. Because I'm going to change colors for this next section, I'm actually going to chain 1 and cut off and finish. If you wanted to continue on around and do more than just 1 round of single crochet, you would chain 1 and that would put you out here on this side of the single crochet, and you would begin just going around just like normal, putting 3 into your center single crochet and carry on. No turning at all. You just put it in there. Now, if we look at the pattern over here, let's tuck my tails aside. If we look at the pattern over here, we can see that this next row, the row 1 here, we're going to read it as it goes around the corner, because once it goes around the corner, we can see what the repeat is. So right here we can see our beginning chains. There are 4 chains, and they are begun in these are the 3 corner stitches. So they're begun in the 1, 2, 3rd stitch to the right of those corner stitches. So over here on my swatch, let's call it a swatch, I've actually marked that stitch so that I can get started here and so that you can see where it is I'm working into. Because I had my 3 singles, and then I've worked over 1, 2, and this is the 3rd one. I'm going to join with a slip stitch and begin to work a treble. I'm going to go ahead and remove this stitch marker because it no longer applies to me. We're going to ignore those tails as much as we can and grab some yarn. So I have my yarn here. I'm going to put my hook. Once again, I want to remind you, I have not turned my work. Okay, I'm going to be looking at the right side of my work the entire way around your blanket. I have my hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 1. I've joined with a slip stitch. Okay. So now I'm going to carry on, and you can see it says 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to count as a treble crochet. My next stitch over, I can see that it's a treble crochet, but see how it goes behind those chains? This is how you're going to complete that stitch. We're calling it the X treble or the cross treble. I'm going to yarn over my hook twice, just like any treble crochet. I'm going behind my chains, and I'm going to the stitch to the right of the one I joined all the chain stitch in, pulling up a loop, and I'm going to complete my treble crochet. 1, 2, 3. So I have crossed over those stitches, okay? Now I'm going to do another treble crochet. This next one, I'm going to skip a single crochet and do a treble in the next. So I'm skipping 1, I'm doing a treble into this one. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to do a treble crochet back into that one that I skipped. So I've yarned over twice, coming back to the stitch that I skipped, putting my hook in, pulling up a loop, and then I complete my treble crochet again. You see that? So far we have 2 of those. Now we're here. We've done that, we've done that. Now we're here into this corner. What's going to happen here is instead of increasing stitches, so to speak, what we're going to do is we're going to put a treble into the center of that corner, and then we're going to do a cross back treble over here to the one that we're going to skip. So it would be the right of center. And then we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to put a treble into the left of center and put a treble back into center. So the center stitch is going to have 2 trebles worked into it to turn that corner. All right, so here's how we do it. We're going to yarn over twice. We're going to go into the center stitch. It's right here. Center stitch. I'm going to complete my treble. I'm going to go back into the stitch to the right of it. It's right over here. Complete my treble. Then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do a treble into this stitch, which is to the left of center. Oh, I almost did a double. Oops. So I'm going to yarn over twice. And then I'm going to do a treble back into the center, coming back over here into the same center stitch and complete my treble. And that's how you turn the corner with this row, okay? So I will carry on down the row, still working my cross trebles. What will happen, I'll skip a stitch and go into the next. And then I work a treble again. I go behind the stitch I just completed. I come into the one that I skipped, and I complete a treble. I'm going to set this down so you can see what I've got so far. I'm going to pull this up and set this down. So what we have is we have where we began, and then we have a cross stitch there, the cross treble, and then right here is our corner, and we have a cross that was worked into the center, and then to the right of center, chain 3, cross that was worked to the left of center, and it comes back and it works right there in the center. So that center stitch has 2 of these in here. And then you would carry on working these crosses all the way down till you got to the next corner, and you would do this again. Go ahead and complete this round and join me back here for round 2 of the border. So I've gone all the way around with my cross stitch treble crochet, and I'm ready to join with a slip stitch. So I'm back to my beginning treble crochet right here. So I am actually going to stick my needle into the 4th chain of that turning chain, and instead of yarning over with my old color, I'm going to cut my old color, leaving at least 4 to 6 inches of tail, and I'm going to bring in a new color because it's time to use a new color on the next round. This is a great spot to change colors without having to join with a slip stitch. Holding my tails together, I'm going to wrap the yarn over the hook with my new color and just pull it right on through. So now I have my new color ready to go, but my old color is just hanging out there and it didn't bleed at all. If I look over here at the chart, I can see I'm going to chain 1 right here, and I'm going to put a single crochet in between these cross stitches. I'm not actually going to work into any of these treble crochets. I'm going to work into the space between. So here we are. We're going to chain 1. And I'm going to tuck right down here into this whole space, that big old space, and I'm going to do a single crochet. Then I chain 1, I skip my whole cross, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a single crochet. Chain 1, come over here. Now, I like to go into that big old gaping space and single crochet. I chain 1, and I'm here and I'm at my chain 3 section. So right here, this is where we are. We've chained 1. We're going to put a single crochet right here in the chain 3. Chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, all in this section. You could put it into the chain stitches if you want, but if you've been paying attention all along, I'm not really a fan of giving myself brain damage trying to figure out where the chains are and such. Sometimes it's easier just to stick it all right there into the chain section. So I have my single, chain 1, single, chain 1, single. And then I chain 1 and I carry on through the rest of the pattern. So let's keep going here. Let's see how long this takes me. Maybe we don't have to break this time around because this is a rather quick one. You can just follow along. I'm just going chain 1 and I'm single crocheting all the way around. Chain 1, single crochet, and then I chain 1, single crochet, get a drink. Oh my gosh, look at that. Single crochet, chain 1. Woo! I'm all the way around. Check that out. Look. Oh man, that is intense. So I'm right here. It looks like I joined with a slip stitch to my very first single crochet, And then I'm going to change to a new color and begin a chain 3, and I have baubles coming up. So when I join with a slip stitch, just like I did this one, you guys, coming all the way over here where my single crochet was, and instead of yarning over with my old color, I'm going to cut it, leaving a 4 to 6 inch tail. I'm going to grab my new color. Let's go back to this lighter pink, and I'm going to hold the tails together, yarn over with my new color, and pull up a loop, and pull that loop through the one that's already on my hook. Give those a nice pull. My nose itches a little bit. Going so fast. All right, so here we are. Right here, I'm going to chain 3. So I have chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And just like we did in the bobbles section, we're going to create partial double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 partial double crochets. And I know they're partials because they have the top hat right there. So we're going to put all those into one space. So I yarn over, I'm going to my chain 1 space, and I'm going to do 1 partial, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, 2 partial, 3 partial, 4 partial, we need 1 more, through 2, so I have 6 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means I have 5 partial double crochets, yarn over and pull through all of them. If you remember in the bobble section, I like to do the chain 1 afterwards to really pull it into place. Okay, that makes it pop. If I'm looking at my chart, I can see that I'm going to do a double crochet into the single crochet right next to this. So I'm going to yarn over and work a double into the single. And then I'm going to do a bobble into the stitch next to it. This becomes quite the chunky monkey of a border, you guys. So make sure that you have lots of extra yarn as you're working around this border, because it is a lot going on. We're putting all of your skills you've learned so far to the test around this border, but it comes out so pretty. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yarn over, draw through all of them. I do my 1 extra chain, and then I'm going to put a double crochet into the single right next to it. Okay, so I've done a single right next to it. I have 2 more bobbles and then a single. And then you can see here in the corner, in that center single crochet over here in this corner, that center one, I'm going to put a double, chain 1, double, chain 1, double. Let's get to that point, and then I'm going to let you guys carry on and come back here when you've completed all the bobble rounds. So let's get over to that section. See how fast I can do that too. What do you think? 2, there is 4, and this is 5. So there's my 5 bobbles, pull, chain 1, put my double crochet right here in the edge. All right, so I did that right there, right? Nope, I got 1 more. So I've got to yarn over twice, come into this space. Here we go. That's why I love charts. I can just see so much better where I am versus looking at the words. I have such a hard time because I would be, searching that paragraph several different times to find the right area that I am in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 too many. So I'm going to undo one of them, yarn over, pull through all of them, chain 1. And now I'm at the corner here. So this is where I'm going to want to put a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. See how it increases in the corner? It's always increasing at the corner so that it lays flat. Chain 1 and then a double crochet, all in that corner. So I put all that there, and then we carry on with the bobbles down the whole row until you get to the next corner. Do that and join me back here, and we will begin row 4. Wow, row 4. All right, so I have went around the entire border and I'm back to the beginning here, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch just like I had done the other borders, but I want to change colors again. So I'm not going to pull through with my old color. I'm going to go ahead and grab my scissors, cut the yarn, grab a new color, come on over here and grab the tails and join that way. So I'm going to go into the stitch, yarn over with the new color, pull up a loop, and pull that through the loop that's left on my hook. So you can see here, I have the bobbles all the way around the border, and you could tell that they're rather flat. That's absolutely okay. They're actually flat on my sample piece as well, my actual finished blanket. It's just the way they have come together with the double crochet next side by side with it. When we did the bobble section for this blanket, you'll remember that we had single crochets next to these big bobbles. So not only did we create a bobble here, but the single crochet on either side of it, it made it punch down, and so that's what gave us that bobble look. So if you're getting kind of these elongated double like kind of sections, that's absolutely normal. That's what you want to get. I'm also going to point out that it looks like I have too many stitches, but I don't. It's just that my piece needs to be finalized with a good wash and block. Once all the stitches, the lace stitches and such are opened up, everything's going to come out and be nice and flat. So don't stress too much if you're just coming out just a little bit ripply. It will be okay. All right, so I've joined this, and we are on round 4 of the border. And what's cool is round 4 and round 5 are very similar, almost identical. But so I'm going to show you round 4, and then I'm going to talk to you how to do round 5 and let you on your merry little way. So we can see at the chart right here, this is where we did our join. And now we have a chain 1 to get up to this next level. So we're going to have a chain 1, and we're going to put a single crochet in the top of the same chain that we joined in. So chain 1, I'm going to put a single crochet right here. And then I have a chain right after, so it's single crochet, chain. Then I'm going to put a single on the top of each of the doubles. So single or a chain 1, single on top of the double, chain 1, single on top of the double, all the way around. When we get to the corner here, we're going to put a single and a chain 1 and a single all in that middle double crochet. So let's see here. We have a chain 1. I'm going to go into the top of the double crochet, and then I chain 1. And then I skip all of these stitches. I come over here to the double, go into the stitch, and complete my single. Chain 1, skip, come all over here to the stitch, and create my single. If you remember, this is very similar to row 2 that we did, or round 2 is what I should call it instead of row, since we're going all the way around. When we did round 2s, we did a single, chain 1, and then we worked into the space between the X stitches. But for this one, we want to work into the double crochets instead of a space. So here I am. I'm at the center double crochet right here. And so I went ahead and I put the single, chain 1, single right there where it needed to go. And that's going to turn my corner. And then I chain 1 and I keep going along. I'm going to work 1 into this double. As long as you get a single crochet into each double, you will be good. All right, so here I am. I'm going along. I know you guys don't want to sit here and watch me do this, so I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to say, Brian, why don't you speed up the video at this point and make me look like I have like Speedy Gonzalez hands, all right? Go. Whew. I don't know about you. That was intense, right? All right, so I have went around the entire piece with the single crochets and chain 1. I'm back at the beginning, and this is a different kind of join than we've done before, so I wanted to show you how this works. Instead of doing a slip stitch into the single crochet, I'm actually going to work a single crochet into the single crochet. And the reason I'm doing that, I'm going to show you with the same color here at the beginning, is it's going to put me in a spot right here where this chain 1 would be. So I'm going to start creating the next row right here. It just puts me in the right place for it. I'm going to rip this out so that I can change colors. Cut my yarn. Oh, let's go back to blue. Now, I'm going to get you started on this, and then I'm going to let you go on your way, and we're going to have you join me back here for round 6. But let's pull through and actually complete. Oh, darn it. I'm jumping ahead of myself, huh? It's all right. So I do want to pull through at least 1. It's because I was used to doing a slip stitch. Pull through 1. Now I grab my new yarn and pull through. See, even the professionals make mistakes sometimes. So now I'm right here and I'm in the middle spot here where there would be a chain 1. So if I go ahead and I do a chain 1 and I work a single crochet just right here in this space, all right? Now, just like before, I'm going to chain 1, but instead of working my singles into a double, because I no longer have a double, I want to work it into my chain 1 space from the row I just finished. So I have a chain 1, work it into the chain 1 space, chain 1, work into the chain 1 space. You see how that goes? So if I'm looking at the chart over here, it's the blue. So on the purple here on row 4, that's the single crochet that I finished. I chained 1, I single crocheted into that spot. So if we have them side by side, it's right there. I chained 1 and I singled into the next chain 1, chain 1, single into the next chain 1, so on and so forth. If I come around to the corner, you'll see that I'm going to do a single, chain 1, single into the chain 1 of the previous corner. All right, really easy. Go ahead and do your Speedy Gonzalez sort of motion and come back here and join me and we'll finish the last round of this border. All right, so you have completed round 5 and we're back to the beginning again. We have our single crochet right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete a single crochet again. So just like to join, just like we did before. So I insert my hook and I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to change colors one last time. It's the last time we're changing colors, you guys. So I've cut the yarn, leaving at least a 4 to 6 inch tail because I think it's important to have a longer tail. It's easier to tuck in ends or weave in your ends that way. I'm going to hold my tails together back here. If you notice, I don't know if you've been noticing, I try and hold the tails about the same length so that way I make sure that my new tail is also 4 to 6 inches. I'm yarning over with my new color and I pull through and there you have it. So I'm right here, I'm in the center, and we can look at our chart and it shows right here that I'm going to do a chain 1, I'm going to do 2, I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, all into this same space where I just created that single. So I'm going into the space, oops, I better chain 1, right? Chain 1, I'm going to go into the space, pull up a loop, do a single crochet, chain 3, and a single crochet, all in that space. Then I do the same thing in the next chain 1 space over. I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. One more time, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. I'm going to set this down. Now you can see I'm getting sort of this cute little picot edge. So it's the finishing edge of the border. You would work that all the way around in all the single crochets. There is no need to increase in the center of the corner of the block. When you do the single, chain 3, single, it's going to clean it up perfectly. So you'll do that all the way around and you finish off with this beautiful picot. At this point in your blanket, you should be noticing that your original puckering after the bobble row is starting to flatten out a little bit. It's the combination of those last 2 rows we did. It makes it so that it lays flat a little bit more. The best thing to do is when you have completed all the borders, so when you're done with round 6, you want to weave in all your ends and then lay the blanket down on a bed or something and just give it a good spritz with some like a spray bottle of water and just pull each block or pull the whole thing out just to give it a nice blocking. It'll lay flat and it'll be a beautiful little finish to this easy project. The only step left here besides the blocking part, it would be weave in ends. So come back here and check out the video for weaving in ends.